So next we'll take a look at how we manage recipients within Transplant Offer Manager. So you may or may not have added a named recipient for the offer when you added the offer originally to the system. If not, the recipients panel will start off blank. And you can see we've got one named patient already assigned to this offer here. And we can see that that patient has not yet been called in, and we don't know what's happened to the transplant for that patient yet. If you call in a backup patient, you can simply add another recipient, and you can add as many recipients to an offer as you like. Again, either using the menu on the left-hand side of the screen or the button to the top right of the panel. You'll see your existing recipients here. And then if you want to add another recipient, you click the link on the left-hand side. And again, for Oxford patients, try to use the patient search if you can, rather than manually adding, because it makes sure that the input's always consistent. EDPS can be a little slow. It's a bit faster now. So again, find a random patient. Enter the mismatch and the CRF if you know it. If you don't know these at the time of entering the patient's information, you can just leave these blank if it's not a named patient. This patient obviously won't be a named patient, but it will be a backup. And then we hit submit. And again, you can see now we've got two patients, a primary and a backup. Okay, and you can carry on adding patients as long as you like. If you go back to the main offer screen now, loads up in just a second, you'll see that you'll be able to see both of the patients on the panel here, clearly marked as who's primary and who's backup. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is to call your recipients in. So from the recipient page, let's say we're going to call in our primary patient but not our backup patient. We'll click the little telephone icon just here. And here we can enter all the information about the questions we ask when we call a patient in. So click now to default to now. We know that this patient is going to arrive on the ward sometime this afternoon. And then you can then ask all the questions. So have we spoken to the nephrologists, and any details can be added here. Any health issues? No. Has the patient had a recent infection or transfusion? Does the patient require transport? When did the patient last eat or drink? Is the patient on dialysis? Now, if the patient's on dialysis, it will ask you when they last dialyzed, roughly. So you can put it in there, and whether there are any issues. And then just a quick cross-check to make sure you've let everybody know about the offer, all the relevant people, and any comments. When we submit that, you can see that that patient now will be marked as having been called in. And when we go back to the main offer page at this point, it's being a little slow today. You'll see that you can now see that this patient has been called in the recipient section. If you need to, you can delete recipients simply by clicking the delete button by the side of a recipient. Try to only use that for recipients that have been put in error. If a recipient is not transplanted, you can record that later on. Okay, so here we can see our two recipients again, one called in, one not called in, and you can document that individually for the two recipients.